Toda la información de la tecnología y los videojuegos llega hasta Houston. Así es, ahora HIC se transmite los sábados de 11 a 12 del día a través de NowMedia Television. Ahí nos vemos.
Where we reclaim our time and energy while moving powerfully forward each and every week. That way we maximize our impact and our profits by becoming the CEO of our business and our life. Today is an amazing day. Why is that? Because today is the day we decide to move forward powerfully, to set our week for success so that we can go out and win today and this week. I'm your host, Jen Goday. I am an international best-selling author and speaker, as well as a transformational life and business coach, fellow entrepreneur, and investor. Why are we here? Because I believe that together we are stronger, that iron sharpens iron. So I'm here to bring you three amazing guests who are gonna spill it all about how they got to where they are today, all the path to success, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So as we dive into that, we're gonna start off with our CEO tip of the day. One of my favorite. Move your body. Yes, I know everybody knows that exercise is a big part of your day and it's important. I'm not talking about your gym workout. I'm talking about periodically throughout the day, as in every hour. Why? Because if we're sitting still and we're not moving, all of the blood is pulling down in our feet. If you ever notice you've been in a meeting for too long, your shoes are a little tight, your feet are a little swollen, well, that's because venous return isn't bringing all that blood flow back to your heart. So how do we cure that? We get up, we do some steps, we do some sit to stands, we do some calf raises, we walk to and from the water cooler or out of the building and take a breath of fresh air. That brings the blood flow back up through our body, up through our hearts, our lungs, and to our brain so that we can improve our focus, our speed of implementation, and our strategic thinking. That is your CEO tip of the week. Are you ready for my favorite part? Drum roll, please. I have here in studio today the one, the only Dr. Christina Robinson. She is the Executive Director of Houston Community College, and she is here to bring all kinds of amazing goodness to you. Welcome to the studio, Christina.
Thank you, Jen.
I'm super excited to see you today.
It's good to see you too.
And you coordinated.
I know, only the best, right?
Great minds think alike.
That's right.
So, Christina, tell me, what got you into your position and interested in what it is you're doing today?
Sure, absolutely. Well, if you look at what we're talking about today, it's about being a CEO, right? And this position gave me this tremendous opportunity to really oversee, from a systematic perspective, this organization. And for us, it's workforce programs, adult education. And so, this gave me that opportunity. And that's why I ended up here. And I don't know if you know this, but we oversee almost $7 million in grant funding from the state of Texas. And so Texas tells us, hey, put people to work, and that's what we do. And so it's fun all the time getting people jobs.
So not only are you a complete amazing rock star, you also speak on this, don't you?
I do. I absolutely do. If we look at where we are as a country today, getting back to work, with COVID and everything that's happened, it could not be a better time to really look at yourself and say, where am I going to go? How am I going to get there? And how might education play a role in that?
I love that question. So maybe we can dive deep into like the role of education and how is education entrepreneurial?
Absolutely. So, if you look at what I do, for example, my job, I go out and I find grants. I find money, right? Just like an investor would. We have to go out, we have to find that money and figure out how can we apply that and be successful. And so for us, we look at the city of Houston, we go out, we find the money, we find the people, we put them to work. We get more money, right? Because we're successful. We want people to get gains in their life, gains in their skills, and that's what we attempt to do.
And so in your job and in what you do with the college and what the college does for the workforce, really with the adult education, how important is it to have strong relationships within the community so that there's, for placement purposes or for opportunities?
So critical. If we look at our programs, for example, we focus in 5 key areas: business, IT, logistics, healthcare, construction. Who are the companies? Construction companies, IT companies, logistics companies. And so we have to partner with these companies, bring them in, and we do it in multiple ways through internships, apprenticeships, partnerships. We want them to go on site. How do you grow your company? We have free labor, in essence, through some of our partnerships to make that happen. And then the Department of Education gives funding as well for employer partners to support students in learning their business. And if you're a growth business or startup, for example, it's a perfect way to really help track that business.
That's fantastic. So I know that this has been a long time coming. It's not like you just woke up and overnight all of a sudden we're this amazing. Actually, folks, she probably was. She was probably born this way. But I know that there's, a journey, and it's not always just an uphill. Sometimes, not always a steep climb up. Sometimes it's really easy, and it's like you're sliding, you're skating, and it's just in flow. And other times you wake up and you're like, oh, I just want to throw in the towel.
Absolutely. If I look at my life, for example, I went to Texas A&M, got out of A&M and went into the plumbing business. I never imagined I'd be in the plumbing business. And then from there, went into the healthcare industry, and through a layoff, ended up in the staffing business, and ultimately found my way to education. But it wasn't always a perfect road. And, fortunately, I had some amazing mentors along the way that said to me, hey, you know what? There's a reason you're not there anymore, because there's something better on the other side. So, fortunately, I did listen to many of those people, and I think you can't be scared to try something new. Without risk, you never necessarily can find the success that you're looking for or necessarily your passion.
Right. I completely concur with you, because what I know is the more risk that I take, the bigger the reward. And of course, it's a dual-edged sword. Absolutely. Because you don't always win when you're taking risks. And as an entrepreneur, and I own multiple businesses as well, and you've been in multiple industries, so I think you can attest to this. You maybe fail 80%, 90% of the time, but when you win, it's a big win.
Absolutely. I tell my staff all the time, let's try it. Let's see what we can do, because most likely we will fail, but we fail through learning, right? We learn every time we fail. We know what not to do. And that's in relationships as well. Both in our jobs, in our relationships, in our careers, we're going to fail. We're going to succeed. It's how you drive that path through, so to speak.
I love it. And I like to I call it taking my learnings. A lot of people call it taking losses. I was in sports med, so we are used to taking our L's, right, on the way through athleticism. But what's really important and what I have learned along the way is the failures I actually learn more from than the successes. Have you seen that in education?
Definitely. And in education, especially right now, we had to move to digital. Many of us had not been in a digital environment. And so we failed many times trying to figure out how are we going to work this Zoom education or WebEx or Canvas or whatever the digital platform might be for that day. And so we did. We failed many times, but at the same time, we learned, oh my gosh, we can create this amazing process for students. And similar to we are today, we could easily Zoom in and have this great conversation that we probably wouldn't have even considered having 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think that what has happened is we've just accelerated technology, and we've accelerated how the future of work, really.
Definitely.
And what you guys do is so incredibly important, because what are you doing? You're training for the future of work.
I had that conversation with somebody the other day because they're like, we're going back on campus. And I was like, well, that's great. But, we've done all these amazing things virtually. We can't lose that. And we created this amazing Zoom lobby so people can come in and they can get immediate service. That's something we never had. So, yes, absolutely. With all the things that have happened to us, it has really transformed everyone. And I think remote work is something you're going to see more and more across the country as businesses say, hey, do we really want to spend all that money on this beautiful building, or do we just want to make sure our employees work?
Particularly in a hot real estate market.
Yes. It is not cheap right now. This real estate market is on fire.
Yeah. So when we talk about the journey and we talk about all of the challenges and learning through our losses, if you will,
yes.
On those days when it just seems like the L's are piling up, because let's be real, in entrepreneurship, we have ebbs and flows. And when we're in an ebb and things are just not working, what is it that you lean upon on that day when you're like, I'm ready to throw in the towel, folks. I just can't do this anymore. Like, what is it that you do to get yourself up, to remotivate, to ignite that spark?
Well, I think I phone a friend, like, what am I doing wrong, or what do I need to do? And obviously, I think having, as I mentioned earlier, those mentors, right? Those people that maybe have gone through it or seen it or done it, and you can call them and say, you know what, I am having the worst week. What can I do? And sometimes it's that different perspective on things that allows you that opportunity to kind of go forward and say, you know what, I got this. It's going to be a rough week, but next week's a new week. I just need to push forward and make it happen.
I love it. You've got this. I think having people who have our backs is incredibly important. It's something that I truly believe we need more and more support. The more successful we are, the more people we need to have our back, because we're holding that space for our staff and our people. So, Christina, tell me, Miss Education Maiden, what book or podcast or learning have you consumed recently, or are you consuming currently, that's really making an impact in your life, either personally or professionally?
Sure. Well, I have this great book by John Carter. It's called Your Iceberg is Melting. And I think that is an amazing book for anyone that we just talked about, kind of going through that process, right? It's about penguins and it's about their iceberg melting, but it directly ties to business every day. And that book, it kind of gives me a chuckle, but at the same time, those realistic principles, you're like, oh my gosh, this is my team right now. This is where I am, and how can I leverage that? So I think that's just a great little book. Quick read that's really good. And really, I think where we are today is I've been doing a lot of focus on change management, right? How can I be an effective change manager and make sure that our team and our services continue without a gap, because it's really easy in this world that we're in right now to fall into that gap. And so anyways, anything fun, I think quick reads are good.
I love it. So now I'm going to ask you a tougher question.
Okay.
If you, with all your amazing expertise and knowledge and everything that you know today, if you can rewind, 15 years ago and tell that version of you, give her a tip or say something, what would it be?
It would probably say, don't think you can't do something, or don't be willing to try something that you don't know. Because I think many times we keep ourselves kind of in this comfortable space and say, that's not something I would do. But I think you have to say, you know what, why wouldn't I be willing to do that? And many times you might find when you jump into something brand new that that's actually better than what you have now. And so that's probably what I would tell them.
I love it. Don't be afraid to jump feet first. course.
That's
So
right.
it has been amazing chatting with you. You've dropped some amazing gems. You gave a great reference for our listeners and our viewers. If you would just share with them how they can reach you if they'd like to learn more, if they're interested in HCC, if maybe they are an entrepreneur who wants to partner with HCC, or maybe they need to upskill, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. Well, give me a call, Dr. Christina Robinson, Houston Community College, 713-253-2764, or you can reach us at hccs.edu/changemylife.
I love it. Change my life. And if you could leave us with a word or phrase that we could take away today, implement today, and just change our life, what would it be?
It would be get up, get going, and be successful. Because I really think if you just get up and get going, you'll be amazed at what you do.
All right, folks, that's a mic drop. Just do it. Thank you so much for joining me today, Christina. It was an absolute pleasure. And thank you for sticking around. We have an amazing docket of guests today. After a few messages, we have Mitch coming up with some amazing tidbits for you. Stick around. Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The NowMedia Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The NowMedia Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Hi, this is Alberto Tudela. The Houston metro area has experienced a substantial increase of wind and hail damage, flooding, and other perils in the last 5 years. Now more than ever, it is critical and essential to ensure your company, your property, as well as your family have the right insurance coverage. Tudela Insurance Solutions offers a wide variety of insurance for home, auto, property, as well as life insurance. My goal is to find a tailored option that guarantees the right coverage at the right price, specific to your needs, present and future, so you protect what matters the most. Call me today at 713-714-4475 and allow our team at Tudela Insurance Solutions to make sure you're protected. Accidents never happen when we expect them. Now is the time to ensure you have peace of mind.
Welcome back to CEO Mondays with Jen. I'm your host, Jen Godet, entrepreneur and international best-selling author. In case you are just tuning in, you missed an amazing interview, which you can catch on demand at nowmedia.tv. But next, we have with us in studio, the one, the only, Mitch Medigovich, loan officer at Fairway Independent Mortgage Company, absolute rock star in the industry. Mitch, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Jen. I'm glad to be here.
It's a complete honor to have you here with me. So, it's been a wild ride. the last year or so.
Right? It's been a pretty crazy ride.
It has.
Over last year was something else. We had to change a lot of things in order to keep moving forward.
Yeah, so tell me, what is it that you're doing today? How are you as successful as you are today versus what you were doing before the world shut down?
You know, I have been doing quite a bit of education throughout the whole period before the pandemic, but did a lot more via Zoom or video and recordings and all of that sort of thing. So I've changed everything from sending out a recording to sending a video text message just to stay in front of people. So that's one of the biggest ways.
I love it. So staying top of mind, but not in an impersonal way, like
Right.
with a video.
Yeah. Total video so that everybody still sees my face. They still recognize just me, and we're just like we're sitting right here now connecting. You know, that was one of the biggest things.
I love it. And are you carrying that forward now that we're back out in the open and moving and grooving again?
Yeah, and still going and educating, doing workshops and all of that sort of thing, but I'm doing a lot more in person. And the video actually pushed me over the edge with being able to be more confident doing more and more education workshops. But now, instead of having something in front of me that I'm able to rely on, I'm actually going to be doing a lot more just in person. You know?
I love it. Yeah, I returned to in-person earlier this week. It was amazing. It's so much better because the interaction in a room versus across a video is just like you can't replicate that.
Yeah, no, you feel the vibe of everybody. So, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, we're not in a Brady Bunch box anymore.
But we had to learn how to own our 4 inches, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And really, really, really be that commanding presence, because that's something that I know to be true about you. In person, for those of you who don't know Mitch in person, he has a very large personality and presence when he walks into a room. So learning how to do that on video is definitely a skill set. Kudos.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate
So
it.
Mitch, I know you are uber successful. You've been doing this a really, really long time. I mean, like, I'm not going to talk about how long, but if you want to say how long you've been in the industry, you go right ahead.
Since 1992, we've been helping families.
So since 1992. So Mitch, with all your success today and everything that you're doing today, if you could go back to 1992 to that younger version of yourself, what would you tell him to do differently, or what would you whisper in his ear?
Straight up, be yourself. Be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else or what you think that other people want you to be. Just be you and help people and genuinely go for helping people. And that's what it is. The other thing I might say is join that Chamber of Commerce then, right now. Don't leave it for the side and think that, no, you'll be fine, you'll do something else. Go join the chamber and do a lot more networking. And that's how we met, was through networking, right? So
Absolutely. So you guys just heard gems. Join the chamber, network, get out, get in front of people. That is so incredibly important. And the other gems, in case you didn't hear it, was go to serve people, help people first. Because when you lead with helping people and adding value to their lives, the money always follows. Would you concur with that?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't chase the money. My dad told me a long time ago, and I didn't figure it out until recently, is don't chase paper. And I didn't understand, what's the paper? Well, the paper was money. So, so don't chase the paper.
Yeah, I got you. So Mitch, if there was one pivotal moment, because I mean, 1992 was a few years ago, not too many, but a few. So if there was one pivotal moment where you recognized, hey, I have the entrepreneurial spirit, I am really good at what I do, and I can go out and grab this business, what was that moment?
Funny, I've been in this for a long time, since 1992, right? But the majority of my success has come from recent times. And the last 2 years ago, now I was an executive role at a builder mortgage company, right? But jumped out of that and into this, and I've met a couple of people who've been in pivotal. You've done a really good job of getting me out there and getting my name out there, right? So I appreciate that. There's another person in town that we both know, and I don't know if I should mention her name, but her first name is Angela. That doesn't take off too much, right? But she really taught me how to network and introduce people, connect people. And that was that one pivotal thing, and it just blew up once I was able to connect people and say, hey, Jen does this, and Sam Jen does whatever. So, you know, that just connecting people.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're adding value without it having to directly relate to your business, which,
Right.
by the way, we've talked about relational capital. So if you missed those episodes, you may want to go back on demand and check them out.
Yeah.
Relational capital is so much about putting those deposits in so that when it is your time, when you do have an ask, that there's money to withdraw from that
Right.
relational capital bank.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. So, Mitch, you know, I've known you a while, and I know you to be someone who, when you learn something, if it resonates with you and you believe you can put that strategically into your business in some way, you take action. That's my perception of you. And so, because I know that to be true, and I know you're continually educating yourself, I'm really curious, what is it right now that you are reading or learning and implementing, and how is that changing your business?
It's still a ton. I'm still learning every day. I've done this a long time.
En vivo desde Houston, la capital espacial, esto es NowMedia, televisión.
¿Ha considerado alguna vez contratar un coach financiero? ¿Pero qué es un coach financiero? Hola, soy Margie Duncan del Grupo Arias. Una forma de ver su situación financiera es darse cuenta que usted tiene, aunque no quiera, una relación íntima con sus problemas financieros. ¿Cuáles podrían ser esos problemas? Digamos, por ejemplo, que está comprando una casa y tiene una hipoteca, necesita restaurar su crédito, necesita algún financiamiento, seguro de hogar, vida o auto. Con respecto a sus finanzas personales, ¿qué tan eficientemente está manejando su dinero? ¿Está planificado correctamente su jubilación de acuerdo a las tendencias del mercado a corto, mediano y largo plazo? Aquí en el Grupo Arias lo entrenamos en todo lo anterior. Así le ayudamos a definir claramente sus objetivos. Llámame hoy a 713-545-6830 para recibir su plan financiera gratis.
En esta era digital, las tarjetas de presentación de negocio son cosa del pasado. De hecho, la mayoría de las personas que las reciben las pierden en cuestión de minutos. La videotarjeta de negocios de NowMedia es un video de su negocio especialmente creado por nuestros expertos con toda su información de contacto, los productos y servicios de su negocio, y puede ser enviado de manera rápida utilizando su teléfono móvil. Cientos de negocios ya están viendo la diferencia. Llámenos hoy al 832-384-9588.
If you're a business owner, delayed payments and other credit issues from your customers can affect the growth of your company. One of the primary reasons businesses today fail is because they don't have adequate cash flow to keep key employees, strong supplier relationships, and on-time payroll schedules. JOBE Services, a Texas-based company that helps businesses maximize their cash flow with a commercial accounts receivable factoring. That matches their needs and budgets and allows you to leverage the creditworthiness of your customers. Used by many businesses, factoring is simply selling your accounts receivable in advance of payment, utilizing your customers' creditworthiness and ability to pay to increase your access to immediate cash flow. We advance 85 to 95% of the face value of all invoices. We are a non-recourse factoring company with advanced technology to have access via online or mobile devices. No long-term contracts, no minimums, no hidden fees. We follow up in a timely manner so your invoices are paid on time. With over 50 years of combined factoring experience, JOBE Services has helped hundreds of businesses in Texas and neighboring states achieve their financial freedom from cash flow issues. Call us today at 281-540-7601 or contact us online to learn more about getting the cash flow that you need to grow your business now and in the future.
Unfortunately, bad things happen to good people. For over 20 years, I have fought for people like you. I know what you're going through. I understand the uncertainty, the stress, and the fear of being charged with a crime. And I know how much a criminal charge, including possibly prison, weighs on you. And I know how important your case is to you and your loved ones. You want a lawyer who knows how to handle your case, who aggressively fights for you, and who treats your case as importantly as if it was his own. I've dedicated my career to defending cases like yours. My greatest honor has been the recognition of my peers and clients. In 2019, my peers elected me as president of the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association, and my clients have written several testimonials and reviews, which I encourage you to read. Let's see how I can help you. Call me today for a free consultation.
En vivo desde Houston, la capital espacial, esto es NowMedia, televisión.
What goes along hand in hand with that is something we talk about a lot on this show, which is speed of implementation.
Mm-hmm.
Like the moment that you have the idea to the moment that you implement it has to be very rapid, or someone else is going to have that idea. Because
That's right.
I hate to say this, but there is no really only one person comes up with an idea. Many of us have the idea, but the successful people are the ones who have the idea and they reverse engineer how to make it happen and they just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you said something else that was really key, and that was imperfect action always trumps perfect inaction. You're always going to make more money with perfect inaction, imperfect action as opposed to perfect inaction. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
And so that's what sets apart the good from the great from the elite. Really, is the speed of implementation and the ability to execute.
Right.
And so once upon a time, we weren't. You said you weren't as good at that. What was it that flipped that switch? Like, do you know what was it in you that you finally were able to grab that courage and just start the execution, even though imperfectly?
One of the probably millions of failures that have come from being an entrepreneur, right? So as you're going along and just doing things wrong, like you said, you get maybe 15 days right, but out of all of the things that you do wrong, it's a learning experience. It's a learning curve. And after a while, I had to figure out, I had to focus on revenue generating activity. And that's what it was. And I also had to focus on those people that were going to engage. There's a lot of people that will get in front of you and want to do all the stuff with you, but they don't want to do all of the work that it takes to actually make these things happen. Mm-hmm. Where I find myself is I am one of the people that will make those things happen, and I see that with you too. So that's what it is. It's you just have to find the right people.
I love it. So that's something that we've talked about a lot. So tell me, have you ever been in a room of people and it's the wrong room?
Yes.
How do you know it's the wrong room?
I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but
no, but where we're going is if you're the smartest person in the room, it's the wrong room because you can't grow.
Yeah, 100%. And there's stuff that people will talk, the way that they talk, what they're talking about, who they're talking about, because if they're just talking about people or other people, that's the wrong room, right? You want to be talking about ideas and where you're going and what we're actually going to do. And I'll put together events, and even if nobody shows up, I'm still thinking about how we draw people in. But I am also listening to the people that are saying, oh, this will never work, that kind of thing. So then I just cut them out.
Yeah, I like it. And something that really, that I have done and that I coach people to do as well is to kind of put everybody that you come into contact with. A is people who are always pushing you to be more than what you are or to accelerate, and they've got your back, right? Always positive. B's are kind of neutral. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they not so good.
You just don't know. Yeah.
You just, but they're kind of neutral. C's are people who are somewhat negative and don't really push you to be something more than you are. And D's are the always negative or mostly negative people. And so it's something that as an entrepreneur, as you hit different levels of success, the pool of people who were A's in the beginning, now that you're successful, now they're D's, right? Because they're jealous of your success. And sometimes they're people we're very close to. So how do you stop, like you tuck their chair in and allow that space for someone who is an A to fill that space. And so it happens in life, like, it happens naturally in life as we move through life. But in business, maybe that person who's now a C or a D is someone who used to refer to you and got you to where you are today. So how do you navigate that, and how do you make the decision and step back?
Well, it's a great question. And one of the things, and I'll put it in my perspective because I work with a lot of real estate agents, that's where the majority of my business comes from, because that's what I'm focused on. And I have exactly what you're talking about. I have a spreadsheet that has A, B, C, and D. And I change those really every year is what I look at that. But I also identify who has sent in the business, who I might be able to follow up with. And maybe I have to look at me and see if it was a relational thing. And maybe I haven't put enough into that relationship, right? So that's something I've got to identify too, because they could actually be a C, but I've got them in the D category. So it's a fine line, but there are times when you absolutely know you just have to fire somebody. And that it is what it is. Even people from your life, whether it's family members that might just be 100% negative, or the naysayers, because anything you tell them about your ideas, it's just not going to work. For them, it's not going to work, right? But
And it's not that we're firing them because they're bad people. It's just that they don't have the same capability. And let's face it, folks, entrepreneurship is hard. It is hard enough without the naysayers. So if everyone that you're surrounded by, if you walk into a room of naysayers, it's the wrong room.
it's 100%.
It's the wrong room, and it's your choices. So I really enjoyed your breakdown of that. So Mitch, if there was somebody out there and you could give them a word or a phrase or just something to take action on right now, that would they could implement and it would improve their life, like today, what might that be?
You might have to ask that to me again. So if it was one thing, one person, I could tell them, here's what you need to do in order to just get started and actually be successful.
Yeah, if you could just share with somebody something that a tip or a takeaway that they could implement, that they could go out if they're not already doing it and start this, and it will get them moving in the right direction.
I think that we kind of touched on that, but it is definitely serving other people. When you go to meet somebody else, don't think about you. To ask about them and draw it out of them of how you can help them. The more people you can help, I totally believe that it'll come back to you, right? It's giver's gain. So.
Absolutely. So you heard it, folks. Mitch is telling you, go out, give value, be the one who serves
value.
First.
Yeah.
And so we are going to thank you for being here today. It was an absolute pleasure. You've dropped amazing gems for our viewers. Thank you for joining us in studio, Mitch.
My pleasure, Jen. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And for you, stick around. We have an amazing guest coming up. Paula Cook will be joining us for all things development and really pushing forward with your business. See you soon.
What is so special about sleeping? It boosts your mental health. It's critical for your immune system, weight management, and fertility, amongst other important aspects of your health. Most people do not know the average person spends a third of their life on a mattress. A hard reality is some people spend roughly 7 years of their lives tossing and turning because their mattress needs replacing, or it's just a low quality mattress, which in turn leads to multiple spine issues and other health problems. Hi, I'm John McCarty with Mattress Firm. Having the exact mattress for you is critical for your overall well-being, and my goal is to help you find the exact mattress that'll increase your quality of life and your loved ones and have a restful night's sleep. Call me at 832-815-8482. I'd love to help.
Having a spotless house is critical for your quality of living. Hi, this is Kevin Thury with WashPros.us. At WashPros, we are locally owned and operated, servicing Central Houston, Austin, and Dallas. We are fully insured. We offer annual, semi-annual, and quarterly cleanings. We recognize that needs change and Mother Nature keeps us on our toes. Just know we are happy to help. We use eco-friendly products and a purified water cleaning system for a spotless shine. We service HOAs, the property managers, investment firms, and you, the homeowner. If you're putting your house on the market or have an annual maintenance cleaning schedule, or you're interested in holiday lighting, we are your one-stop shop for all of your exterior cleaning and holiday lighting needs. Call me today for your free on-site quote and let washpros.us be your clean escape.
Now, more than ever, having accurate and up-to-date bookkeeping is crucial for tax and operating cost optimization. Additionally, having a reliable outside bookkeeping company ensures your books are done correctly, and there is no need for the cost of a full-time accountant. RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services, founded by veteran Ron Maldonado, can provide different bookkeeping packages to fit your company's needs. Assist with the installation of onboarding of QuickBooks, review your books for tax preparation, assist with the creation and registration of your company and obtaining your company's EIN number with the IRS. Tax services for individuals and businesses, for sales and use tax certificates, filing franchise and sales tax reports. Take a decisive step. Call Ron Maldonado at 281-610-7039 and let RSM Bookkeeping and Tax Services be a part of your success.
My name is Barbara, and I'm the owner of Blades Appraisals and Art Resources. I appraise fine art, antiques, collectibles, and residential contents. My projects have ranged from an autographed Hall of Fame baseball bat to an entire museum's art collection. Here's when you should call me. The top 4 reasons. Number 1, advance estate planning to minimize your family's tax bite, as well as ensure an equitable settlement between parties after death. 2, I understand the IRS guidelines for donations. I can make sure you get the maximum value for your donation. 3, making sure you have adequate and appropriate insurance coverage. And 4, when you decide to downsize and you want to sell part of your collection, I will help you maximize the value by recommending the appropriate method of sale. Feel free to reach out for a complimentary project estimate. If I can't help you, I will make a recommendation. I truly enjoy my work, and I'd love to hear from you.
Welcome back to CEO Mondays with Jen. I'm Jen Gode, your amazing host, and I am so excited to introduce to you today Paula Cook. She is entrepreneur and COO of Jen Gode Coaching Services, and welcome back to the studio, Paula.
Yes, I am so glad to be here today. Excited.
I am too, because you wanted to join us for a conversation that has been coming up a whole lot in our community and in our world. The journey from employee to entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. That is a journey that I know oh so well. And I'm so excited to talk about that because with the state of our world, not just our nation, but our whole world, that is a journey that a lot of people have had to embark upon here in the last year and a half. So it's definitely a story that I love and that I'm excited about, and definitely excited to talk about it today.
So we know all about that shift. I've made it. Lots of people we know have made it. And when you are working for someone and you are a rock star and you get to that point where you're like, wait a minute, I can do better. I can do this. I have a different way. And then you bring that to your supervisors and they're like, no, that's not how we're going to do it. That was kind of what sparked my entrepreneurial journey. But when you get to that moment, a lot of times as an employee, we're maybe not in the most positive state. Is that correct?
Yes, I think a lot of times when you get to that point, you are at a point of frustration. You're at a point of maybe not feeling appreciated for all that you're bringing to the table. You're at a point where you just, like you said, want to do more and want to do better. And so thinking that out, and how do you do that without beating up against a brick wall or having no told to you over and over, or that's not the way we're going right now, or look, we'll think about it and maybe we can do that later. How does that sit for you? So when you start having those moments, that is when you start looking at that transition period.
And is it an easy transition?
Some of it, no, but some of it, yes, because it is a very liberating transition, but it is difficult in certain areas because depending on how long you've been an employee, that has been, for some people and like myself, it was my whole entire professional career. I reported to someone paid my check every other week. There was no thinking about things from a very, very high level. You reported, you did, and it was very routine. And so being an entrepreneur now, you get to break out of that routine, you get to really live your passion, and you are reporting to yourself, which could be good or bad, depending on how you like to hold yourself accountable. So it is definitely a transition. It is definitely something that I would encourage anyone who is going through that to, of course, get a coach, get a mentor, get someone that can help you through that has gone through that, because it is definitely a transition.
And so when we're doing this transition, a lot of times people are afraid to actually make the jump. Like, I'm going to give you, for example, are you the person who the side gig is kind of making the same amount as the full-time job, but you just can't quite get rid of the golden handcuffs? Or it's almost there, the side gig's like 75% of what the full-time job is, and you want to make that jump. What would you say to people with golden handcuffs that are looking to make that transition? How is there something that you could look at, a resource or something that could help them with that?
So absolutely. I think it's important to have several resources to get ready to make that jump. And number one is your circle, your family, your friends. Getting to have that support from your inner circle is number one. And then number two is, once again, I hate to be redundant, but find a coach, find a mentor, find someone that has done it already and can coach you, guide you, be there to support you through it from a place and space of what's next and what can help you to make the most gains on your goal, which would be transitioning the fastest. And there are going to be some hard times. There are going to be some ups and downs. So you definitely want to have that positive environment, and you want to have someone that can guide you through it.
I love it. And we talked earlier with Mitch about having the right people around you. And I think even with Christina, we've been talking a lot today about firing the negative people, because the entrepreneurial journey, whether it's a side gig or a full-time gig, whether you're going from a full-time job to entrepreneurship is a challenge, especially in the first 3 years. And so it doesn't do to have negative Nancy's surrounding us. And the naysayers. It's really important to surround ourselves by that positive tribe that has your back. And so something that we've talked about a lot with a lot of other entrepreneurs about their jump is it's purpose driven. It's that they feel they want to make an impact in a different way. And a lot of times they're not entirely sure whether that's something that the market can support or provide. They feel like they don't have enough knowledge. They don't have enough due diligence. They don't have enough of something, the not enough. And so a lot of times that not enough keeps them from jumping. How is it that you coach your clients to go from not enough to feel like, hey, I've got this, let's do this?
Absolutely. So from a person that has gone from not enough and I don't deserve it to a person who is I am enough and everything that I need for my entrepreneurial journey is on the inside of me because I have clarified and defined and discovered my passion and my why. You hear people talk about the why and it may sound cliche, but why are you in business? And before you really make that jump and transition, you have to be very clear about why you are in business because it is important. When you wake up at the beginning of the day, you want to know why, because when you connect to that why passionately, like I have in wanting to help other people transition and wanting to help other people live their best life and wanting to help teens, be successful for the next part of their life, no matter what is going on in that journey, I still push forward. I still keep going. I still keep finding ways to make my dream of being an entrepreneur and running my own business and helping those people a reality. And so it is important to be connected to your why, and then for the things that we don't know, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And I know that's crazy, but it is so true. There are times you just don't know what you don't know. When you're starting a business, because you've been an employee, you don't even realize you need your own bank account. Like you have to put money in your own account. Yes, and you need to have your own, and you need to have an EIN number. Like, what is an EIN number? And you need to create your own company. Yes, you have to register it with the state and all of these things. So that is once again where that coach and that mentor come in for you to be able to guide you in the things that you don't know. So just because you're a good entrepreneur or you have that passion does not mean that you know all the things business. And so it is important to understand that and know your limitations and find out how to get those resources so you can be successful.
You're absolutely right. And something like 98% of small businesses fail in the first 3 to 5 years. And it's not because they're not good at what they do. Right. They're actually great at doing. They're just not good at business, or they've made some mistakes, or they've waited too long, or they haven't invested in their business. Because another thing that happens when people are trying to jump is, and a question that I get in the business coaching world is, so Jen, like when is it going to be the right time to invest in marketing? When is it going to be the right time to invest in coaching? Well, the answer is, if you're asking that question, it's now. Because the reality is we can't put the cart in front of the horse. If you don't have marketing, you don't get customers.
Right. Nobody knows you're in business.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be an investment in money per se. Like we all have resources, right? We have financial resources, we have time resources, and we have relational capital. And so when we're looking at that, if you don't have a lot of money to invest in your business, then what do? We can use our time, or we can use our relational capital. And so can you speak a little bit to that fear of investing in the business and that putting the cart before the horse?
Absolutely. So there is definitely a fear of when to do things. And the fear is you don't know if money is coming. Unlike when you were an employee, you knew money was coming every other week or every week, or there was a scheduled time for money. So as an entrepreneur, there's not a schedule. The schedule is when you have clients or when you have, when you sell your goods. So that is a huge fear. And the deal is, though, you have to push through that fear because you can't get to the other side. And so it's about leaning in. It's about investing with a plan and knowing where your money is going, not just throwing it out there and hoping that it sticks, which once again, going back to this, I know I keep reiterating, but the way to not waste your hard-earned money that you're going to invest in your business and invest in yourself, in your marketing, in anything that you do, is to have someone, a coach or a mentor who has done it before, so they can help guide you. That is so critical. And not that they're telling you what to do, but they're guiding you along the way and saying, have you thought about this? Are you sure you have this ready? And making sure that you have thought through all the things that could cause you to fail.
Right. It's about setting yourself for inevitable success. We talk about that a lot, and we don't know what we don't know. That is very, very true. And it's funny because even after being in business, and I started my first business 20 years ago. Even after that, you still learn things because business is all like the world around us is continually changing. So we're always continually learning and growing, or we're dying. So I totally concur with you, and coaching is definitely a shortcut. So Paula, if there was one thing that you would share with the people who are burning the candle at both ends, on that fence looking to jump, that they could take away today and immediately implement?
Yes. So what I would say is figure out what your passion is, figure out what your why is, and what do you actually want to do in your business. Why would you change from employee to entrepreneur? What is it that you want to accomplish in your business? So that is the one thing that I would be clear on today before you jump. And then if I could add a two, the next one is to get that plan. A lot of us are concerned and won't do that transition or start that transition because of money. Money green, like my dress, money. So it is very important to get a plan to set yourself up, because business is an up and down, an ebb and a flow. It is not a static situation. So you will have to have a plan to have financial stability before you jump.
I love it, Paula. And if people are watching and they really want to get in touch with you, how would you like them to reach you?
Absolutely. I would love for you to email me at paula@jengodaycoaching.com, and I would love to have a conversation with you. Shoot me an email once again at paula@jengodaycoaching.com, and I would love to have a conversation with you about how to start this transition from employee to entrepreneur, or if you're already on your way and are thinking, oh my God, I need some help and this would be great, please reach out to me. I'd love to help.
Yeah, Paula is an educator first. She has really got a heart for this, and she understands the burning the candle at both ends and the jump. She's made the jump herself. She's doing all the things, and so she's really close to that. So thank you so much for your amazing wisdom and for everything that you bring to the table. And Paula, I'm going to let you leave this room with one word or phrase, like 3 letters, maybe. I mean, 3 words, maybe.
3 words, okay.
What are you going to leave everybody with that they can take away with them and take home with them today?
Okay, 3 words. So, number 1, fire. Fire. And in fire, there is some great things in fire, and that's financial independence, retire early. I am on fire. And when you're an entrepreneur, you have that choice to do that. So fire. And then, of course, number 2, passion. We've talked about that the entire time. And then number 3 is plan. Have a plan. Don't just jump. Have a plan.
I love it. Fire, passion, and plan. Thank you so much for everything, Paula. It's been a complete pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And unfortunately, all good things come to an end. Thank you so much for sharing this time and space with us. I wouldn't be a good coach if I didn't take this opportunity to invite you to choose one thing, just one thing you heard today on this show, and put it into motion in the next 24 hours. Don't wait, because if you wait, you're going to forget. You're going to get caught up in your day and all the things. But take this opportunity right now. Make a commitment to yourself.
Broadcasting live from Houston, the space capital of the world. This is NowMedia TV. Television for business leaders.
En esta era digital, las tarjetas de presentación de negocio son cosa del pasado. De hecho, la mayoría de las personas que las reciben las pierden en cuestión de minutos. La videotarjeta de negocios de NowMedia es un video de su negocio especialmente creado por nuestros expertos con toda su información de contacto, los productos y servicios de su negocio, y puede ser enviado de manera rápida utilizando su teléfono móvil. Cientos de negocios ya están viendo la diferencia. Llámenos hoy al 832-384-9588.